As promised, in this video we'll cover how to change our future with the knowledge of the cosmic clock. To understand what we need to change in the future to have the life we want, we need to look at the past and see what has gone wrong in our lives and when. Let's therefore look at a new diagram, the age on the cosmic clock. When you are born, you start on a 12 o'clock line. That is the little number 12 at the very top of the circle. In your yearly clock, when you turn 1 year old, you move to the 1 o'clock line and so forth. With each new year of your life, you advance to the next line. Therefore, in 12 years, you make one big circle around the clock. The little 12 at the top now means that you've completed the first 12 years of your life and you are turning 12 years old. And then you start over again. This time, though, when you arrive back on the 1 o'clock line, you're turning 13. Then you move on to the 2 o'clock line when you turn 14. And you go on from there. Every year you're 1 year older and soon you've finished your second 12-year cycle. This means you're now 24 and back again at the 12 o'clock line. This cycle continues until the end of your life. The diagram shows that when you were born and also at the ages of 12 and 24, you were on the 12 o'clock line. When you were 18 years old, you were on the 6 o'clock line. When you were 22 years old, you were on the 10 o'clock line. I hope that is clear so far. You may be wondering how this works when you're not born on January 1st. Okay, here's an example. Let's say you were born on June 12th, 2000. Every following year you switch to a new line, so on June 12th, 2001, you entered the 1 o'clock line and spent the second year of your life there and so on. Your experiences on every line as well as in every new 12-year cycle will be different. But at the same time, there's a lot of similarity on each line. That's because the God qualities as well as the misqualifications of each line don't change. Your tests may be different as you circle around the clock, but the overall theme of each line stays the same. What changes is the karma that descends on each line. That brings us to the main topic of this video, how you can change your future with the violet flame. In order to foresee your future and change it, looking at the past is very helpful. To illustrate that, we'll start with a fictional example and then I'll give you some examples from my own life. So let's diagram the first 24 years of your life like this. On each of these lines, you're meant to learn a new facet of self-mastery. As a baby in the 12 o'clock line of God power, you mobilize your energy and learn the disciplines of eating, sleeping, moving, crawling, and simply put, staying alive. On the 1 o'clock line of God love, you're spending more time on discerning and connecting with the people around you. Learning to speak in that year is part of learning to communicate and relate to the world around you. On the 2 o'clock line of God mastery, you're working on skill development, such as learning to color and riding your little tricycle. You're beginning to be more assertive of your own needs and wants compared to those of the people surrounding you. On the 3 o'clock line of God control, you're becoming more aware of your own ego and separate existence. As you go to kindergarten, you learn more self-control as well as a certain level of control over your external environment. Then on the 4th birthday, you arrive at the 4 o'clock line of God obedience. As your emerging ego has been developing on the previous lines, even as a young child, you are now faced with the test of remaining obedient to your parents and teachers, or acting out and kicking against the discipline and self-control they expect from you. So far so good. Now, if you are an obedient, easygoing child, you make good karma on that line. However, if you develop into a rebellious child that won't do anything your parents ask for, you begin to make negative karma on that line. A year later, you'll be off that line, but the negative karma you made on that line sits there and waits for you to come back on that line again. That happens when you're turning 16. So now, when you're entering the 4 o'clock line for the second time, it isn't a blank slate. A record of disobedience is waiting for you, a package of karma from when you were 4 years old. And now, as that karma stirs up trouble in your being, you have a choice. To recognize it, work on it, and get a better grip on yourself, or to give in to the record and turn into a rebellious teenager. If you go the route of becoming a rebellious teenager at 16, you're multiplying your negative karma on that line. And when you arrive back on that line once again at age 28, you may now run into some serious trouble there, such as constantly getting into arguments at work and being fired or having a run-in with the law and ending up in jail. It's the same process for the karma we make on every other line of the clock, whatever age we are. If we don't resolve it, it comes back to bite us the next time we land on that line of the clock. Now here's an important thing to realize. We not only have karma from this lifetime, but also from previous lifetimes. And that karma from previous embodiments sits on the lines of our clock to greet us when we get there, as a wise teacher that shows us how we've invested our life energies in previous embodiments. Our experiences show us what we've done right, good karma on a particular line, and what's still waiting for resolution, bad karma on a particular line. Let me give you an example of this from my own life. When I was 5 years old, I broke my femur in a sled accident. That was something negative that happened to me, and it tells me that I have karma on the 5 o'clock line. In most cases, negative karma from past lives begins to descend from our 12th birthday on. But in some cases, your soul can volunteer and agree to receive that karma at an earlier age. These kinds of decisions are made before we come into a new embodiment. I think that's what happened in my case. A later 5 o'clock line was very crazy with lots of changes and things happening, which tells me that this is a line I have to pay special attention to. Interestingly, that was also the year when I found the teachings of the Ascended Masters and had my first real personal contact with members of the Summit Lighthouse. This eventually resulted in me spending 3 months at the TSL Ranch in Montana, which was the beginning of a whole new phase of my life, including getting married and having a lovely child. These experiences show that I have some bad as well as good karma on this line. So now I know that the 5 o'clock line can be challenging for me. That's why I invoke more violet flame than usual before entering that line and while I'm on it. If something negative should happen in those years, it won't come as a complete surprise. That's comforting, isn't it? So by paying attention to the records and patterns in my life and transmuting the not so good records with lots of violet flame, I'm now able to change my future. Because the next time I hit the 5 o'clock line, I will have transmuted a good deal of these records and will be more likely to reap good things rather than challenging things on this line. Let me give you one more personal example of how this process works. This is more serious than a broken femur. When I was 34 and on the 10 o'clock line of God vision, I had a miscarriage. Although I did not have an abortion in this life and have no memories of an abortion from another lifetime, I believe this was karma that I have created at one point in the past. Understanding the misqualifications of that line, which are selfishness and self-centeredness, led me to think that I may have aborted a child in another lifetime out of selfish reasons. That karma had to return to me at some point, and that happened to be in this lifetime. So because of that difficult negative event in my life, I am now more cautious about this line when approaching it the next time, so I can clear away any remaining records that could cause a repeat experience. I'll make sure to invoke lots of violet flame before I get there. I hope that these examples have given you a better idea of how to approach your personal cosmic clock. You can draw a clock for your life and mark the lines when something big happened to you. The positive big things, but especially also the negative big things. Analyze these patterns and invoke lots of violet flame to be ready when you're approaching these lines where difficult things tend to happen in your life. Just keep in mind that not only your yearly cycles are important, but also your monthly cycles. I've explained that in more detail in video 1 of this series, but to summarize it, if you have karma on the 4 o'clock line, for instance, it's not only important to transmute that karma before you get on your yearly 4 o'clock line and while you are on it, but also to be aware that within 12 months you pass by the 4 o'clock line and stay there for a whole month. In those months, you may experience mini problems that are reflections of your larger issue on that line. I hope you found this video series about the cosmic clock of value and can see now how you can change your future with the violet flame by knowing your past records and your karma. Using the violet flame in general ways helps with the transmutation of karma. It's the best spiritual superweapon to create the life you want. Once more, I encourage you to read the book Predict Your Future, Understand the Cycles of the Cosmic Clock by Elizabeth Clare Prophet, which you can buy on Amazon. It's a great book to better understand your personal cosmic clock. There's a lot more in this book that's important on the spiritual path, but it's impossible for me to put it all into one short video series. I'll add the book link below the video description. Thanks so much for watching and have a great violet flame day.